Now, you said today is early voting day, and it was a few weeks ago that we had National Voter Registration Day. But I want to ask what might feel like a basic question, but is it too late for someone to register to vote if they are watching this and thinking, yikes, I haven't gotten around to it? It's October 29th, the election's in a week. Are there places they can still register?
Absolutely. You can go to vote.org and we give you all the rules and dates and deadlines in every state, but about half the states and Washington, D.C. have same day voter registration too. So in many places, you can show up to register to vote in person and cast your ballot. So you want to look to see if you live in one of those states. And if you do, you can go ahead and register all the way up till Election Day.
Now, I saw you tweeted last night with only 8 days until the election. Remind your audience that they don't need millions of followers to make a difference. Can you talk about why you felt the need to post this on social media? And you had some facts and figures with this that I thought were really interesting. But what compelled you to say this to your audience?
I think the thing is everybody sees the big influencers that get involved in the election cycle, and we are all so grateful for the way that they use their platforms and the way that they model how to use your platform. Taylor Swift and Beyonce's of the world, and all of the different artists that show up to tell people to stay civically engaged, and that's really exciting. And I want everyone out there to feel agency and making sure that their friends and their family are civically engaged, because the best messenger for voting and for civics and for protection of access to the ballot box in our democracy is actually you talking to the people that you love. So I want to encourage everyone to become the vote captain of their friends, their family, their street, their school. Get everyone engaged. Once you have your plan to vote and you're registered, make sure you get 3 to 5 friends and realize that your platform is as powerful with the people who love you as anyone's. And so that direct ask and that direct outreach is so important. And I think that sometimes when it comes to a presidential election, people feel like, it's so big and there's so much and what can I really do? And the truth is, every single thing you do will be important. It'll strengthen what's happening in your neighborhood, your town, your city, your state. And we forget that there are thousands of local elections going on all across the country as well. So presidential may take up all of this big space, but you want to make sure your friends and family are registered and that they're showing up to vote, because there's school board elections happening, city council elections happening, judicial elections happening, and all of those things will affect everybody's day-to-day experience. So we're all influencers. It's just a matter of who you're influencing and if you've really asked them to participate.
I like that. Become the vote captain for your block, for your school, for your family. I'm wondering, Andrea, is there a message that has been most effective in talking to some folks who think that their vote doesn't matter? For instance, I saw someone on social media say that she's been going around knocking on doors, and someone said, like, oh, my vote doesn't matter. And her response to them was, well, in your state, 70,000 votes made the difference between who won and who lost last cycle. So it's really a much narrower margin of victory in some places. Is that the effective message, or is it something else that you have found really helps move people?
I think a few things. If you don't vote, it doesn't mean that that something isn't happening. It just means that you don't have a voice in the decision. Politicians aren't afraid to disappoint people who don't vote. So making sure that your voice is heard and that people know that you exist is a really important thing. And you don't want to, cede control of decisions over you, your family, your body to people that to people without having a voice in that. I think that the other message that really works is to tell people. Many elections have come down to a handful of votes in this country. A few years ago, the entire control of the Virginia state legislature came down to a tied vote. So they did a coin toss to decide control of the state legislature. Like there are thousands of elections that come down to 100 people or less. So it's really, really important to participate. Your vote does matter. It does count, and it certainly counts in those local elections. So show up for the presidential and then vote all the way up and down the ballot to make sure that you're really having a say in what's going on in your community. But the biggest thing is there are people out there now who are trying to keep you from voting. There are two types of people in our country: those who believe in free and fair elections, and those who believe in some other style of government. And the only way we can protect the rights that we were all born with is to keep showing up time and time again, and maintain participation levels so that we can continuously have access to the ballot box, because it is not guaranteed. So realizing that it's not guaranteed and that the way to protect it is to show up also helps.